This is our countdown of 10 awesome PS4 games for under $30. These prices came from Amazon, and keep in mind that prices do fluctuate all the time, so they might be a bit different depending on when you're watching. With that being said, let's get right into this. Number 10, Mad Max for $20. Mad Max was one of the many open world games that released in 2015, and it was one that went really under the radar. It released the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5, more on that later, so that probably didn't help. Mad Max wasn't a terrific game, but it was good for what it was. The open world was rather barren, but it takes place in a desert, so what do you expect? The combat is good, the visuals are great, and it runs really well on the PS4. For $20, it's the perfect price for a game like this.
Car.
Here she lies, a magnum opus!
This is your magnum opus. Acquiring necessary gear throughout your journey allows you to upgrade your vehicle. These upgrades will let you build and customize your magnum opus just the way you want. In addition, you will need to equip yourself with armor and weapons in order to stand a chance against your enemies. As you progress, you will also need to upgrade your gear and abilities to survive against the brutal forces of the wasteland.
Griffer can help. Help you venture down to where you daren't go yourself. And lay bare your true promise.
While ammunition can be exceedingly scarce, there are plenty of other weapons at your disposal that can prove to be just as deadly.
Number 9, The Evil Within for $20. Quality horror games don't come around too often anymore, but 2014's Evil Within was a great game. Not a lot of replay value, so the retail $60 price tag may have been a bit too much for a 12-hour campaign, but it's a great 12-hour experience. The gameplay is pretty good, the story will keep you hooked, and it's very atmospheric. The current $20 price tag on Amazon is well worth it.
Or a luxury, one you cannot always depend on when confronting the haunted.
Out of ammo?
Not having them at your disposal can turn what should have been a quick kill into a run for your life. Staying hidden in the shadows may save your life and give you the upper hand when ammo is running low. The Evil Within is a living nightmare of sinister creatures, unforgiving environments, and lethal traps meant to capture, maim, and kill. You'll need to be creative and figure out how to turn obstacles into assets. While sometimes your enemies may appear to be dead, it's best to make absolutely sure.
Number 8, Assassin's Creed Syndicate for $19. After Assassin's Creed Unity was released in 2014, many lost hope for the franchise and didn't give the next game a chance. After all, Unity was a broken mess. And even if that game wasn't broken technically, from a gameplay standpoint, it wasn't the best AC out there. But if you didn't play Assassin's Creed Syndicate, you really missed out. Okay, so this game doesn't reinvent the franchise, but it does make it better. The main characters in Jacob and Evie Fry are great, and the story is pretty engaging. New additions like the grappling hook make exploring the gigantic world a blast. And for $19, this is an excellent game for last year's AC title.
There's no way I'm missing. Where's he going? You're embarrassing yourself.
I hate you.
We're fast friends now, aren't we?
I hate you.
Be quiet.
Help me. I'm being taken.
Number 7, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege for $28. First-person shooters is a very oversaturated market. There have been so many of them, seemingly less so recently, but there's still a lot of first-person shooters to pick from. But Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege was a very good one. It's more of a tactical-based shooter, so you do need to use some teamwork, and it's the best when you have some friends to play with. The issue was at launch it was a $60 game, and there was no campaign mode and not a ton of content, so it really wasn't worth it. For the current price of $28, it's a solid pickup. Just keep in mind it is a multiplayer focused experience. Number 6, Fallout 4 for $29. Fallout 4 is one game that has retained its price for quite a while, but it's finally under the $30 mark. This was by far the most hyped game of 2015. People were so looking forward to it, and the anticipation this game was able to build up was just insane. And when you have anticipation and hype like that, it's gonna lead to a lot of disappointment, and many thought it was a disappointing game, but there's a lot of fun to be had in Fallout 4. The world of Commonwealth is gigantic, and there's so much content in the game. The major issue with Fallout 4 was on the technical side, especially on the PS4. Bugs, glitches, frame rate issues, you name it, it was there. And now mod support has been taken away too, so that's a bummer, but for the price of $29, you're getting a lot of content and it's well worth your money. Number 5, Valkyria Chronicles Remastered for $29. Okay, so Valkyria Chronicles Remastered isn't discounted, it was actually released at this price, but I thought I should still mention it because it's one of the most underrated JRPGs of the last decade. It originally released on the PlayStation 3 back in 2008, didn't get a lot of fanfare, but it was remastered and put onto the PS4 with all of the DLC and your typical remaster improvements, and it's a great pickup. The game has a great watercolor art style that just looks fantastic, really good tactical gameplay that's a bit different than your typical strategy RPG, and a fantastic story. And the way that story is told through the use of a book keeps you engaged and hooked throughout. $29 may be a bit expensive for a game that was originally released 8 years ago, but if you're a fan of JRPGs, definitely pick it up.
Gotta love me.
Fire!
I'm impressed, but not surprised.
Entering combat.
Fire! Damage minimal.
Number 4, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain for $24. MGS5 was one of the most controversial games of this generation. That controversy has been well documented, so let's just skip that. What the game is a great open world stealth game. Gameplay is arguably the best Metal Gear has ever had, and while the story is severely lacking, the cassette tapes do add a bit of depth to the world, but it's not the traditional Metal Gear epic. There's a lot of fun to be had in MGS5, and if you're not a fan of Metal Gear, you'll find a very well made game. If you are a fan of Metal Gear, you'll be disappointed by the story, but at this point you've probably already played the game, so that's a non-issue. For $24, it's a great open world title.
That's the target.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Number 3, Doom for $28. Doom was one of 2016's best games and it's already under $30. The main drawing point of Doom is actually the fantastic single-player campaign. It's 12 hours long and that's a lot longer than most first-person shooter campaigns. Typically these days an FPS will run about 4 to 6 hours and most of the fun is had from the multiplayer, but with Doom, the single-player was excellent and the multiplayer was a bit of a mixed bag. There's fun to be had with the multiplayer, but the star of this package is definitely the excellent single-player campaign. And for the $28 price tag just for the campaign, it's worth it.
Demonic threat reduced by 25%.
Number 2, The Last of Us Remastered for $10. The Last of Us was one of the PlayStation 3's best games, and on PS4 it's even better, running at 60 frames per second, featuring better visuals, the DLC content, and a great photo mode, and trust me, that's a great addition because the world of Last of Us is so beautiful. If you've never played The Last of Us, I question why you even own a PlayStation platform. It's fantastic from the gripping narrative to the excellent and diverse gameplay, and for $10, it's an absolute bargain.
You hear something?
Finally, number 1, Bloodborne for $13. Bloodborne was the PlayStation 4's first must-play exclusive. There were some good games up until that point, but Bloodborne was the game that made people really want to get a PS4. It's arguably the pinnacle of all of From Software's games. Obviously, it's much like Dark Souls, where it's a very difficult game, but very rewarding at the same time, and an insanely atmospheric world thanks to the excellent music and visuals. Gameplay is strong, and even if you weren't a fan of some of the DS games, I would recommend giving this a shot. And for $13, it's a great value. I should mention that this is only available for Amazon Prime members, but you can sign up for a free trial and get the game. And if you're a gamer, Amazon Prime is well worth it considering you get 20% off on all new releases, so it's not a bad investment. And Bloodborne for $13, that's an excellent deal. So that wraps up our countdown of 10 amazing PS4 games for under $30. What do you think? Did we miss any games? Are you picking any of these up? Let us know in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching and goodbye.